Orgasm is not what you think. We have been brainwashed in the conventional culture that orgasm is something that it actually isn't. It is part of what it is, but it's not the whole thing. And so this has led to a complete misunderstanding of sexuality. It was with Masters and Johnson that this certain type of sexuality that we think is the only way here in the West was codified. It never was codified before. And that is that sex is this, and they measure it in laboratories and so on. And I don't really think laboratory sex knows anything about what sex really is. But anyway, they measure that sex is this increasing intensity, get to this orgasm, release, and then fall off. And certainly that's one kind of sex. It's very popular. It's very close to reproductive sex, which is for the purpose of making babies. So that kind of sex goes like this, where there's a lot of very intense activity, intense, all oriented towards the goal of orgasm. But then it has an orgasm, it's extremely pleasurable, and it drops off. And then there's a period where you may orgasm again, but it probably will take a while and that sort of thing. And this is seen as the goal of sex, and that's fine, but there's something else going on that's been going on since the beginning of time. And this might be what we call Tantra. So one thing I discovered in India when I first got there, I was laying on my bed in this very high rarefied atmosphere, this vortex of energy. And I was laying on my bed. Some of you have experienced this. We might call it an energy orgasm. And I just started breathing. And this happened to me without my intention at all. And the air was it was a circular breath. There was no beginning or ending, and it started circulating. And then a surrender happened where the breathing started happening by itself, and I started having orgasmic waves. I started just pulsating. It was so enjoyable, and I saw that just through the breathing you could get to this very high state of sexual arousal. This for me at the time was a discovery. I hadn't read about it, I hadn't heard about it. Then, I don't know how many days later, I lived there for a year, so I went to this very high energy, it was called an energy darshan. And the music was playing. They have world-class music there. The band was playing and everyone was dancing. We were dancing very vigorously, very excitedly to this music. And all of a sudden, this energy went up my spine and my vagina was actually contracting. And I realized, oh my God, I'm having an orgasm. How could this be? I had never heard of such a thing. Of course, it's happened to many other people, but I had never heard of it. So I was having this pulsing energy orgasm just from dancing, not from any partner, not from touching myself, anything. So when that happened, I fell on the floor and I just was like bowing to whoever or whatever had allowed this to happen to me. And then over that course of that year, there were several times when I would be sitting around in this Buddha field, this high energy place, and orgasms would just happen to me. I would be sitting in a chair and an orgasm would start up my spine. And this I had never heard of either. Since then I've done research and I found out that this is a thing and that it happens. It's not very well known. So what I started getting is that what orgasm really is. It's a pulsating frequency that's always going on in the universe. It's underlying everything. There's always a pulsation of orgasmic frequency going on. And when we do this kind of sex where we struggle, get to this orgasm, poof, and then go down, we have come up and met this frequency briefly. But it's possible through lifting our own frequency, through certain tantric exercises, through certain ways of making love, through certain ways of breath happening to us, not us doing breath, that we can actually surf along this pulsating frequency that's always going along. We can catch a wave and surf and surf and surf and surf and surf. And there's not this going up and going down. There's no poof going down when it's over. It's we catch it, we ride it, we know we can always catch it and write it again. This is what orgasm is. This has not been taught to you. This has been held back from you by people who don't have a clue. So we'd like to teach you about this. There are ways to get to it. I have some classes. You can come back here to my YouTube channel. You can read my books. I want you to experience this level of orgasm, because once you do, you will want to have this in your life. There's no doubt about it. It's so fantastic. I want you to know.